Welcome back. We're going through Excel Module 2, and we're on page EX78 of the Shelley Cashman series of Microsoft Office 365 Excel 2016 Intermediate by Freund and Starks. On page EX78, step 4 from the last little bit, the instructions are to save the workbook again on the same storage location with the same file name. If you have autosave on, then you can just ignore that step. The last couple things we did before saving, if you saved it, was to apply some formulas. We used the average, the max, and the min functions. And so let's take a minute just to review these. We didn't use the average function, sorry, we used the max and the min function so far. So let's explain the uses of the max and the min function. The max function takes in a range of data and returns or just evaluates to the highest value in that range. The min function takes a range of data and does the same thing, but it evaluates to the smallest in that range of data. The average function is going to do two things to a range of data. It's going to do what to them? Add up all of the values in that range of data and then divide by the number of elements in that range of data. On page EX78, step 1, let's go ahead and double-click cell I4 to activate the range finder. Here you can see that the formula we had entered was to take the sum of G4 and H4, so we have G4 plus H4 in parentheses grouped together like that, so the addition will happen first, and then we'll divide by F4. So following PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, we'll do the stuff in parentheses first, and then we'll divide. And here we can actually verify what we had entered in as the input to our formula. So the formula, it's using references to cell G4, H4, and F4. And Excel has gone ahead and highlighted those for us so we can see, okay, it's these three cells that are being used in this formula. To quit the range finder in step 2 on page EX78, press the escape key and then click anywhere in the worksheet, such as cell A18, to deselect the current cell. On page 79, although the worksheet contains the appropriate data, formulas, and functions, the text and numbers need to be formatted to improve their appearance and readability. On page EX80, step 1, to change the workbook theme. Step 1. Click Page Layout to display the Page Layout tab. Click the Themes button in the Page Layout tab in the Themes group to display the Themes gallery. We can experiment by pointing to several themes in the gallery to preview the themes. Step 2. Click Ion in the Themes gallery to change the workbook theme. That's the second one down in the first column. On page EX81, step 1, display the Home tab. This is to format the worksheet titles. Step 2, select the range to be merged, A1 to K1 in this case, and then click the Merge and Center button in the Home tab in the Alignment group to merge and center the text in the selected range. Step 3, on page 81, select the range A2 to K2, and then click the Merge and Center button in the Home tab in the Alignment group to merge and center the text. Step 4. Select the range to contain the title cell style, in this case A1 to A2. Click the Cell Styles button in the Home tab in the Styles group to display the Cell Styles gallery, and then click the title cell style in the Cell Styles gallery to apply the title cell style to the selected range. Step 5, on page 81. Select cell A2 and then click the Decrease Font Size button in the Home tab in the Font group to decrease the font size of the selected cell to the next lower font size. And that's this little button here. The icon is capital A with a little caret pointing downward, and it decreases the font size. Let's just leave it there, just clicking the button once to decrease the font size by 1 unit to the next lower font size. On page EX82, to change the background color and apply a box border to the worksheet title and subtitle. Step 1. Select the range A1 to A2 and then click the Fill Color arrow in the Home tab in the Font group to display the Fill Color gallery. The Fill Color arrow is right next to this Fill Color button, which has the icon of a little bucket of paint like spilling over. And let's go ahead and select our desired background color here, so we can point to a variety of different options here, and the one that we're going to go with is Blue Gray Accent 5 Lighter 60% in column 9, row 3. This is step 2 on page EX82. Click Blue Gray Accent 5. This is the hardest part, is just finding which one is Blue Gray Accent 5 Lighter 60%, column 9, row 3 in the Theme Colors area to change the background color of the range of cells. Step 3 on page EX82. Click the Borders arrow in the Home tab in the Font group to display the Borders gallery. That's this button here. It looks like a little rectangular grid split up into 4. Click the button, click the Borders arrow to display the Borders gallery. And on page EX83, step 4, click Thick Outside Borders in the Borders gallery to create a thick outside border around the selected range. Click anywhere in the worksheet, such as cell A18, to deselect the current range. And as we can see, we've applied this thick outside border to the selected cells. Can't really see it in the top and left, but in the bottom and right sides of that range of cells, we can see that that thick border has been applied. And if we were to print it, we would see the thick border up over there as well. Page EX83, to apply a cell style to the column headings and format the total rows. Step 1. Select the range to be formatted, cells A3 to K3 in this case. Step 2. Use the Cell Styles gallery to apply the Heading 3 cell style to the range A3 to K3. Step 3. Click the Center button in the Home tab in the Alignment group to center the column headings. Step 4. Apply the Total Cell style to the range A13 to K13. And step 5 on page EX83, bold the range A14 to A16. Page EX84. Step 1. To format dates and center data in cells. Select the range to contain the new date format, cells K4 to K12 in this case. Click the Format Cells Number Format dialog box launcher in the Home tab in the Number group to display the Format Cells dialog box. So that's here in the Home tab, in the Number group, and it's this little tiny button in the bottom right corner that will launch this dialog box, Number Format dialog box. Here we have a whole range of dates, date formats where we can select from. If necessary, click the Number tab in the Format Cells dialog box. Click Date, so number's already selected. Click, so we don't need to do that, but if it weren't, go ahead and go to the Number tab, and then click in the category list, click Date, which is already selected as well, and then click 314/12 to type in the type list to choose the format for the selected range. So that's this one here, 03/14/12. Actually, that's 2012, so we actually want this one down here, 03/14/12. So month, /day, day/year, year. 2 digits each. Step 2, click the OK button in the Format Cells dialog box to format the dates in the current column using the selected date format style. And as you can see, these higher dates are now formatted according to that new pattern that we just selected. And in step 3 of page EX84, let's select the range C4 to C16 and then click the Center button in the Home tab in the Alignment group to center the data in the selected range. Select cell E4 to deselect the selected range. And on page EX85, to apply an accounting number format and comma style format using the ribbon. Step 1. Select the range to contain the accounting number format, cells E4 to H4 in this case. Step 2. While holding down the Control key, select cell J4, the range F13 to H13, and cell J13 to select the non-adjacent ranges and cells. Okay, did we get them all? E4 to H4, J4 and F13 to H13, now in cell J13. So you can do that just by holding down the Control key before you select any new cells that you want to add to this non-adjacent range. And then while holding down the Control key, oh, we already did that. Step 3, sorry, on page EX85. Click the Accounting Number Format button in the Home tab in the Numbers group. So that's this $sign button here. And now we've applied accounting number format with fixed $signs to the selected non-adjacent ranges. Step 4. Select the ranges to contain the comma style format, cells E5 to H12 and J5 to J12 in this case. Step 5, click the comma style button in the Home tab in the Numbers group. Number group. It's just this big comma button here to assign the comma style format to the selected ranges. On page EX85, step 6, select the range D4 to D16 and then click the comma style button in the Home tab in the number group to assign the comma style format to the selected range. Let's apply this comma style format. And I'm so sorry to skip around like this, but I realized we skipped a step. I totally missed this on page EX76, step 2. So just going back for just a second. Step 2 on page EX76, actually even step 1, well, sorry, to determine the average of a range of numbers using the keyboard. So it's funny, I was looking right at it and I absolutely did not notice it. So on page EX76, step 1, select the cell to contain the average, cell C16 in this case. Luckily, I don't think it really compromises any of the work that we already did, but select cell C16 and type equals AV in the cell to display the formula autocomplete list. Press the down arrow key to highlight the average function. Step 2 on page EX76. Double-click average in the formula autocomplete list to select the function. Select the range to be averaged, cell C4 to C12 in this case. To insert the range as the argument to the function. Step 3, click the Enter button to compute the average of the numbers in the selected range and display the result in the selected cell. Page EX77, step 1. Select the source range. This is to copy a range of cells across columns to an adjacent range using the fill handle. Select the source range from which to copy the functions, in this case C14 to C16. Drag the fill handle in the lower right corner of the selected range through cell J16 to copy the 3 functions to the selected range. So I'm going to take this fill handle here and drag it all the way to cell J16. And in step 3, on page EX77, select cell I16 and then press the delete key to delete the average of the tax percent. Okay, and here we are, step 4. I think this is where we started. On page EX78, save the workbook again on the same storage location with the same file name. So autosave is on, so if that's the case, you can go ahead and skip that step. Otherwise, you can just click File Save. Okay. So we talked about the rangefinder, and I think we were on page EX85. We had just done step 6. And so let's go ahead and continue on. Again, my apologies for missing those. On page EX86, step 1. Select the ranges. This is to apply a currency style format with a floating $sign using the Format Cells dialog box. Step 1, select the ranges E14 to H16 and J14 to J16, and then click the Number Format dialog box launcher in the Home tab in the Number group to display the Format Cells dialog box. That's E14 to H16. And J14 to J16. Oh, geez. So I just accidentally dragged in the wrong way. I'm just going to click Cancel, and then I'm going to try once more. So here we go. E14 to H16, and J14 to J16. If that happens, just make sure that none of the data changed. That's super important. If necessary, click the Number tab to display the number sheet in the Format Cells dialog box. So that's over here. Just click Home, and then in the number group, format that little dialog box launcher in the bottom right. And go to the Number tab, if it's not already there, and then click Currency in the category list. Select the necessary number format category, and then click the third style in the negative numbers list to select the desired currency format for negative numbers. So we want to apply parentheses around any negative numbers and to have the format that we just selected. We don't have any negative numbers in the range, and in Excel and all the Microsoft products, the changes you make will only apply to what you select. So here, without any negative numbers in that range, we won't see, the parentheses. But it does look like that format was applied, so let's go ahead and continue on. On page EX86, step 2, click the OK button in the Format Cells dialog box to assign the currency style format with a floating $sign to the selected ranges. At the bottom of page EX86, what's the difference between using the accounting number style and currency style? When using the currency style, recall that a floating $sign always appears immediately to the left of the first digit. With the accounting number style, the fixed $sign always appears on the left side of the cell. So the placement of the $sign differs. On page EX87, to apply a percent style format and use the increase decimal button. Step 1. Select the range to format, cells I4 to I15 in this case. Click the percent style button in the Home tab in the number group to display the numbers in the selected range as a rounded whole percent. The result of clicking the percent style button is that Excel will display the value as a percentage, which is determined by multiplying the cell entry by 100. Here, Excel is rounded to the nearest percentage, but what if we wanted to go out to 2 decimal places for our percentages? Well, on page EX87, step 2, click the Increase Decimal button in the Home tab in the Number group 2 times to display the numbers in the selected range with 2 decimal places. So here, that's the icon. It looks like 1 digit of a 0 going to 2 digits of a 0. So let's go ahead and click that twice so that we can go out to 2 decimal places. On page EX87, Conditional Formatting. To apply conditional formatting on page EX88, the following page, step 1. Select the range D4 to D12. Click the Conditional Formatting button in the Home tab in the Styles group to display the Conditional Formatting menu. Click New Rule on the Conditional Formatting menu to display the New Formatting Rule dialog box. Click Format Only Cells that contain in the Select a Rule type area, New Formatting Rule dialog box to change the Edit the Rule description area. In the Edit the Rule description area, click the arrow in the Relational Operator box, second box, to display a list of relational operators, and then select Greater Than to select the desired operator. So we want cell values that are greater than, and then select the rightmost box and type 72 to enter the value of the rule description. So just looking at the New Formatting Rule dialog box, it looks like we want to format only cells that contain a value that is greater than 72. So putting that all together, on page EX89, step 3. Click the Format button in the New Formatting Rule dialog box to display the Format Cells dialog box. Well, what are we going to do with all of these cells that are greater than 72? If necessary, click the Font tab in the Format Cells dialog box to display the font sheet. Click the color arrow to display the color gallery, and then click white background 1, column 1, row 1 in the color gallery to select the font color. Step 4 on page EX89. Click the Fill tab in the Format Cells dialog box to display the fill sheet, and then click the blue color in column 9, row 1 to select the background color. And mine are upside down, but that's totally fine. So the standard colors are just down here, so let's go ahead and find blue. And that looks blue enough, so let's go ahead and just click OK. All right, so here we go. Color palette looks a little different on mine, but don't worry, it's that's fine too. On page EX90, step 5, click the OK button in the Format Cells dialog box to close the Format Cells dialog box and display the new formatting rule dialog box with the desired font and background colors. White text, blue background, displayed in the preview area. Step 6, click the OK button in the new formatting rule dialog box to assign the conditional format to the selected range, and then click anywhere in the worksheet, such as cell A18, to deselect the current range. So quick sanity check. If we look at a cell that had a value greater than 72, do we see that formatting applied? How about cells where there's no formatting applied? Are they all less than 72? On page EX91, conditional formatting operators. We could have also selected a number of different relational operators from the list. Instead of greater than, we could have also applied a conditional format to cells that were between two numbers, not between two numbers, equal to a certain number, not equal to a certain number, greater than or less than a certain number, or greater than or equal to or less than or equal to a certain number.